Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Sarah Chen and her husband Mike were packing their apartment in New York City. A big moving truck waited outside their home in Brooklyn. They were leaving the city with their 3-year-old daughter. Living in New York had become too hard for them. Their rent was very high, $4,800 each month for 2 rooms. Daycare for their daughter cost $2,200 a month. Also, their daughter could not get into the local school they wanted. These many problems made them decide to move away. Sarah explained that it was not one big problem, but many small problems together. Things like subway delays when rushing to pick up their child before extra charges began. The rent went up every 2 years. They often worried if they could ever afford to have another child in the city. The daily stress of city life was simply too much. The Chen family is an example of what some people call the middle-class squeeze. These are families who earn good money, like $100,000 to $200,000 a year. But they still find it too expensive to live a normal family life in New York City. They cannot afford to buy a home or even pay for basic family needs like childcare. The Chens are moving to a bigger house in Charlotte, North Carolina. There, their costs for housing and childcare will be much lower. Many other families are also leaving New York City. This book will look at why people are leaving. It will also ask an important question. Is New York City losing its people, or is the city simply changing to welcome new kinds of residents? 2. The numbers tell a story. New York City's population has changed a lot. After the pandemic, many people left. The city's population went down by over 326,000 people from its highest point in early 2020. But recently, the city is growing again. From July 2023 to July 2024, almost 87,000 more people moved in. This means the city has grown for 2 years in a row after a big drop. Around 8.48 million people live in New York City now. However, these numbers hide a deeper story. A lot of young children are leaving. Between 2020 and 2023, about 92,000 children under 5 years old moved away. This is a big decrease, almost 17%. It shows that families with young children are finding it hard to stay. New York State also sees many more people leave than arrive each year. For example, over 481,000 people left in 2023. The numbers also tell us about who is leaving and who is coming. Families with young children who moved out often had higher incomes, around $140,000 per year. These were often middle-income families. People who left the city generally had an average income of $49,000. On the other hand, many new people coming to the city are from other countries. International migration has been very high, bringing over 200,000 asylum seekers since spring 2022. Many new arrivals are also young, single professionals. Their average income is about $56,800. Most of these new residents rent their homes. Where do people go when they leave New York? Many move to other states. Florida is the most popular place, with over 71,000 former New Yorkers moving there in 2023. New Jersey is next, with many also going to Pennsylvania, California, and Texas. Moving to nearby states often means families still want to live close to New York's jobs but find cheaper places. These numbers show a complex picture of who can build a life in New York City today. 3. Life is expensive. Living in New York City is very costly, especially for families. Many middle-class families find it hard to make ends meet, even with good jobs. Consider a family that earns $140,000 yearly. This is common for families with young children who have left the city. After paying federal, state, and city income taxes, their take-home pay might only be $98,000. Taxes can reduce earnings by over 30%. Housing takes a large part of a family's money. Rent is very high. The average rent for an apartment was $3,676 per month in late 2024. In Manhattan, it was around $4,000. For a family taking home $98,000 a year, almost half of that goes to rent alone. Other costs add up too. Utility bills can be $150 to $300 each month. Groceries are also about 25% higher than in other places. Childcare is another huge expense. Daycare for just one baby can cost $26,000 a year in a center. Home-based care can still cost $18,200 a year. City officials noted that a family would need to earn $334,000 yearly to afford care for one 2-year-old. This is 4 times more than what many families earn. Because of these high costs, over 80% of families in New York City cannot afford typical daycare. Taxes also add difficulty. New Yorkers pay 3 types of income taxes: federal, state, and city. This triple tax system means families keep less of their money. For those who own a home, property taxes are an extra burden. Many middle-class families face a problem called the benefits cliff. They earn too much to get government help for things like childcare, but not enough to easily pay the high market prices. For example, a family of 4 might not get childcare help if they earn over $108,631. However, full-price childcare for 2 children could cost $40,000 to $50,000 yearly. This situation creates great financial stress. These many high costs together create a lot of pressure. This is a big reason why families find it difficult to stay and raise children in New York City. 4. Daily problems. New York's subway system is a big part of daily life. But for many families, it has become a source of stress. People rush to pick up children from daycare. A delayed train can mean extra fees. While general crime on the subway went down in some months, major, serious crimes actually went up in others. This makes many people feel worried when they ride the trains. The subway should make life easier, but sometimes it adds more problems. Beyond the subway, many people feel worried about safety in the city. The overall number of crimes went down a little in 1 year. This was a decrease of over 3,000 incidents. However, some types of crime that affect families increased. For example, felony assaults, which are serious attacks, went up by 5%. This was the highest number in over 24 years. So, even if the city says crime is lower, many parents still feel anxious. They worry when they are out with their children. This difference between official numbers and how people feel is a big problem. Finding a good public school in New York City is also very hard. The city has many schools, but choosing one is not simple. For high school, students must choose from almost 2,000 schools. They list up to 12 choices and hope to get into one they like. This process causes a lot of stress. For younger children, where a family lives often decides which elementary school they can attend. This means that to get into a good school, families often have to pay a lot more for housing in that area. It feels like you have to buy your way into a good school district. The stress does not end with getting into a school. Students in New York City feel a lot of pressure to do well. Research from New York University shows that nearly half of high school students feel very stressed. This pressure starts early, sometimes in middle school. There is a very hard test to get into specialized high schools. This creates a race to succeed that begins when children are still young. They feel pushed to do more and more, which can lead to burnout. Finally, finding good childcare is a big problem for families. There are fewer childcare places available now. Only about half of families can find a licensed daycare. Sometimes, daycare centers close suddenly, often with an email late at night. This leaves parents without care for their children, and they must quickly find other plans. This constant need to have backup options makes family life very unstable. It adds to the daily stress of living in New York. 5. Working from home. Remote work changed life for many people. Before the pandemic, about 40,000 remote workers left the New York area each year. But in 2020 and 2021, this number grew a lot, to 200,000. This was a 5 times increase. It meant many people could keep their jobs in New York, but live in places where life was cheaper. For example, a software engineer earning a good salary in New York could move to a city like Austin or Charlotte. They could keep the same job and the same pay. This instantly made their lives easier because their costs were much lower. This chance to save money was very big for many families. During the first 2 years of the pandemic, 1 in 4 remote workers who moved far away kept working from their new home. The New York area lost 116,000 remote workers in this time. Other cities like Austin, Denver, and Nashville saw many new remote workers arrive. This change greatly affected professionals such as consultants, financial workers, and people in technology. They found they could continue their careers without living in an expensive city. For the first time, living in New York was a choice, not a must for many jobs. Companies reacted in different ways. Some companies let employees work remotely all the time. Others adjusted salaries based on where people lived, paying less if they moved to cheaper areas. Many companies chose a hybrid way of working. This meant employees came to the office some days but worked from home others. Some people even became super commuters, traveling to New York only a few days a week. It became clear that remote work was here to stay. The need to live very close to work became less important for many jobs. Living in New York was no longer the only way to succeed in many professional fields. 6. City rules and taxes. New York has many rules for businesses. These rules can be very difficult and costly to follow. For example, businesses in the state pay about $365 billion each year just to make sure they are following all the required rules. Small businesses often find this burden especially hard. A small company with less than 20 workers might pay around $4,882 per employee each year just for these compliance costs. For bigger companies, this cost is much less, about $1,400 per worker, showing a clear difference. The state and city also have very high taxes. New York has one of the highest tax burdens in the whole country. When state and city income taxes are combined, people who earn a lot of money can pay more than 14% of their income in taxes. This amount is quite large. There are also often talks about creating new taxes for rich people, like millionaire taxes. This constant discussion makes businesses unsure about what future costs might be, making long-term planning difficult. Rules for important things like the environment, worker safety, and public health change often. This adds to the difficulty for businesses to plan and grow. For instance, a hospital must deal with as many as 15 different state agencies every year just to get certain approvals. Recently, a new law called the Climate Change Superfund Act was introduced. It will make fossil fuel companies pay $75 billion over 25 years. While supporters say this is good for protecting the environment, critics argue it makes New York a harder place for businesses to operate smoothly. These many complex rules and high taxes create a tough environment, especially for new and small businesses trying to start or grow. This system often favors larger, more established companies because they have more resources to handle the costs and paperwork. In the end, these extra costs that businesses pay are usually passed on to the customers. This means people living in New York City pay more for many things, from their housing and food to various services, because of these city and state rules and taxes. 7. New people in the city. Even though many people are leaving New York City, new people keep coming. In fact, many people still move to New York every year. For example, Over 301,500 people moved to the city in 2022. This was the highest number in a decade. This shows that New York still has a strong pull for many new residents. Young people, especially professionals, still see New York as a great place for their careers. They move here for jobs in important fields like finance, technology, media, and the arts. The city has a large number of experts and leading companies in these areas. It offers many chances to meet important people and grow in a chosen career. One new resident said, "You cannot get the same quality of help and chances for your job anywhere else." This makes New York a key place for those wanting to advance in their professional lives. A big reason for new people arriving is international migration. Many immigrants are coming to New York. Since spring 2022, more than 200,000 asylum seekers have arrived. This group of people brings new energy and helps the city's population grow. Historically, new immigrants have always made New York stronger and more lively. They bring new ideas and hard work to the city. Students also choose New York. The city's many universities and professional schools attract smart young people from all over the world. These students study subjects like medicine, business, journalism, and law. Many of them decide to stay in New York after they finish their studies. Rich people also continue to find New York appealing. They like the city for its strong financial services, luxurious shopping options, world-class cultural places, and important social circles. Even with high taxes, the unique benefits and opportunities here make the city very attractive to them. The city's professional and cultural networks are very powerful. Because so many talented people and resources are in one place, new ideas and opportunities appear quickly. This agglomeration effect means that the combined talent creates more than just individual efforts. This is especially true in creative fields, finance, and technology, where meeting people and unexpected encounters lead to new progress. These strong networks and the constant flow of new individuals show New York's enduring strength and its role as a global center. 8. What happens next? New York City has a long, strong history. It has faced many big problems before, but it always found a way to change and grow. In the 1970s, the city had serious money issues, and many people left. After the September 11 attacks, there was much sadness and fear. Then, in 2008, a major money crisis hit the world. Each time, New York did not give up. It reinvented itself, becoming stronger and different. This past shows that New York has a great ability to adapt and overcome challenges, proving its urban resilience. Today, New York faces new problems, especially the high cost of living. Many families and middle-income workers are leaving. To keep the city alive for everyone, new ideas are needed. One major issue is housing. Rents are very expensive, making it hard for normal families to live comfortably. The city could build more homes, especially larger ones for families. Changing old building rules, called zoning reform, could allow more construction. This would increase the number of available homes and help lower prices for everyone. Childcare is another huge cost that hurts families. It is often too expensive, and many parents cannot find good childcare centers. The city comptroller's analysis showed that most families cannot afford typical daycare. The city could help by offering universal childcare, like the successful Universal Pre-Kindergarten program. This would mean all families could get affordable, good quality care. Such a program would let more parents work and help more families stay in New York, keeping their skills and taxes in the city. Beyond money, daily life also needs improvements. The public transport system needs to be reliable and feel safer for everyone. Making schools less stressful and easier to choose could also make a big difference for families with children. These changes would improve the quality of life and make New York more attractive to people from all walks of life. The most important question for New York now is, what kind of city does it want to be? Will it only be for the very rich and those who need public help? Or will it remain a city where everyone can build a life, including the middle class? Historically, New York has been a place for all kinds of people: teachers, artists, doctors, shop owners, and business leaders. This mix of people created the city's unique energy, diverse culture, and strong economy. Losing the middle class would hurt this essential diversity. The future of New York depends on the choices made today. If the city wants to keep its diverse population, it must make life more affordable and better for everyone. City leaders and citizens must decide what is most important to protect. This decision will show if New York can evolve in a way that includes all its people, or if it will lose some of the special qualities that made it a global beacon of opportunity and culture. What do you think New York City should do first to help families stay and thrive?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.